Hello everyone, welcome to beautiful Harrisburg, South Dakota here at RMS Roller Grinder. I'm Luke Zabrowski and today we are going to discuss RMS's automation package. So the automation package consists of really three main components. The first is going to be our RollGap automation, motor, gearbox, positioning of the rolls. That you can have up to 16 different recipes. The second is going to be our AccuGap. AccuGap is push button calibration. Really what that takes the place of is your operator going out to the machine and having to zero and parallel that machine on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. And third is we're going to have the roller mill controls. Really what that is just the brains of the operation. It gives us the ability to move roll positions, operate the AccuGap. Comes with a touch screen to be able to see overall health of the machine. And then also, probably one of the most underrated functions of that is the ability for RMS to log into that control system remotely to be able to either operate your machine or troubleshoot it if need be. All right, guys, let's dive a little bit deeper into those three main components of the automation package. First is we're going to start with the RGA. So this is the positioning of the recipes. So I'm going to have a colleague go ahead and change our recipe from, let's say hypothetically we were running some crack corn. Now we need to go ahead and fill up the swine bin. Hit the set recipe. As you can see, the dials are moving. The positioning sensors are communicating with the control panel. As those roll gaps start to get closer, you're going to go ahead and see the speed of those dials slow down. And our operating system is going to give you a green light when the recipe positioning is complete. And right there, recipe set. All right, let's jump into the second component, and that is going to be AccuGap. Once again, just a quick reminder, that is the push button calibration of your rolls, taking place of zero and paralleling outside in the feed mill by one of your operators. So you're going to go into the operating system, hit AccuGap. Obviously, rolls need to be spinning, machine needs to be on. Go ahead and click set 1, start calibration. Really what this is going to do is going to go to a sequence of events where the roll position is going to advance in on the right side and barely touch. That communicates back with the control panel of set position. One of the main things I get asked with customers that have AccuGap is, Luke, how often should I be AccuGapping? And my answer to them every single time is pay attention to your test. If you're out of spec, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to AccuGap. Generally, for a co-op or a customer that's running 12 hours a day, I would say something like once a week is a good start. Each set is going to take about 5 minutes to accomplish. Generally, I would say customers that are doing this, do it on a Monday morning or a Friday afternoon when they come. Friday morning when they come in, start the machine up. Start the other equipment, hit AccuGap, and go ahead and go start doing other things while the machine calibrates. So while I was talking, you can hear the right side come in, touch. That communicates back with the PLC of the position. Now it's going to work on the left side of the machine. And then for the final operation is going to be the zeroing. So that is where the gap on the right side and the left side are touching, and that is true zero. the right side is backed out into position. Get set. It's going to switch over to the left. One thing I will say that kind of sets RMS apart from other RollGap automation that you might see out in the field, I personally have ran into. Honestly, AccuGap is really the thing that sets our automation apart. The other automation, or historically the other automation, you have to have a human teach the automation home. AccuGap gives us the ability to have calibration done the same way every single time, and really ultimately removing the human error aspect. And now what we're seeing here is we're into zeroing, so the left side and the right side are starting to inch in. Now RollGaps are calibrated. That was zero position. The machine's going back to the recipe. You're ready to start grinding. All right, guys, we are going to take a little bit closer look at our control system here. So the screen that we're on right now, we commonly refer to as your rolling page. So this is going to have amp readouts for your motors. You're going to have feeder control, as well as recipe control and roll positions. Going into the next tab, we're going to have our recipe manager that I spoke about earlier in the video. So up to 16 different recipes. You have preset roll gaps here. If you have a VersaMill, you also have roll speed saved to said recipe. These are all numericals, and then you can also label them as, for example, dairy, swine, poultry, really whatever you want to name them. Next is we're going to go into the settings. Just a lot of really, shutdown timers, feeder settings. You really shouldn't have to mess with that stuff that much. And then over here on the right, you're going to have an error log. So with timestamps, which is really helpful if maybe something happens on night shift they don't tell you about, you can come in here, see what's going on. And then going to the AccuGap tab, as we demonstrated earlier, pick your set, hit start calibration, let it go through its deal, go get a coffee, and you come back, your roller mill is calibrated. All right, guys, let's jump into a common question that we get, and that is, why should I buy RMS's automation package? There's kind of three main problems that I generally see customers trying to solve when they're purchasing the automation package. First is going to be labor. What I mean by that is the day of the machine operator that can hear, feel, touch the machine, operate it with a wrench, and ultimately get you the product that you want out of your machine. Unfortunately, he's retiring. We have this new regime of a workforce that I'd say is a little bit more technologically advanced, a little bit more comfortable operating a computer rather than a wrench. Second is going to be repeatability and consistency. with the automation package, this machine is going to adjust and calibrate the same way every single time. It doesn't matter if Billy, Joey, or Tommy are working, it's going to operate the same. And ultimately what that breeds is a consistent particle size out of your machine. Third is going to be support. So with the automation package, what are the functions or hidden gems is RMS has the ability to log in remotely to your machine and help troubleshoot. Maybe you're having an issue and operators are commonly, they know something's wrong, they just don't know what exactly it is. Well, with the automation package, we have the ability to jump into their brains and just take an overall health reading of this machine and help troubleshoot without stepping foot into your field.